Me mo bi bia kwaba eba Melodies TV so. Now, a company I from Service Ghana Auto Limited. The company which now has been caught in the very controversial $108 million ambulance scandal okuja to Ablakwa ede ababonte no. Company no finally ababonte ababe responde. Na media asemo ade bia meka no okuja to Ablakwa ne exposés a woye nyina no de this is the way it goes. O sha say woye exposé 1212 problems and nipa kro na ababe responde. Oba responde wi a no okuja to the more details aba obon se na afi nipa kro no ne ho akwa every single exposé a wokuja to waye wo krom ha no sa line no e na take. And so it is good for the company to respond. Yankon kinkan company in the response a wode abro okuja to ne hu ne se omo exposé okuja to and say still okuja to asem yede. Now as a Service Ghana Auto Group Limited, the private company at the heart of the latest exposé by the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okuja to Ablakwa, has responded to the allegation made by the MP. Service Ghana Auto Group Limited, in a statement cited by Ghana Web, refuted claims by the North Tongue legislator that there was some illegalities in the payment of some $34.9 million to it by the government for the purchase and fitting of spare parts on some 307 government ambulances. The company refuted the assertions by the MP that it was offered the contract by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo without competitive tendering on a sole sourcing basis. It explained that it was part of 16 companies who bid for the contract for the service in 2018 and was chosen to be part of a consortium of 7 companies that got the contract because they provided the required services at a relatively low price. Also, Service Ghana Auto Company Limited, Service Ghana Auto Ghana Limited is an SPV of a consortium of 7 companies that participated in a competitive procurement process, not sole sourced, and was adjudged on merit to procure and provide after-sales service and maintenance for 307 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter ambulances for the National Ambulance Service. And I think some information ya wamdi be so okuja to dia badeda. And no okuja to babel list companies are wamuni na nya contract no. I mean okuja to has come with it already. Anyway, but utie company ninsema say I'll get to okay, utie let me start breaking down what the company has said. If the company need tremu say send okuja to kan say say omope the contract share monsano and you see that I think say they are mixing things up, and I don't know whether it is deliberate to confuse Ghanaians, and I want to explain so you understand. Now, the first exposé I wokuja to the buyer, it was on the spare parts deal. That was the first exposé. Now, from the spare parts deal, no, that one your company penny nya deal no. Spare parts no, your company ne pay. Later no kuja to sanso be can say ambulances ne kra na 307 ambulances ne kra na company we ka ho. Now among this company no where other companies are muni amokai ewo platform we so mebe bobo companies ni din other companies are wo muni na ka ho a wo mo ebi mo wo de 40 ambulances buy ebi de 30 ene nyama buy. Now in the response from this company asemwa wo mo kan say ejuma no enye wo mo pe no mo yeye. Inti sa oba bonte na obeka say ejuma na enye wo pe na yeye. Which one are you responding to? Are you responding to the because they quoted the spare part figure? Spare part figure na $34.9 million no. And that spare part figure na $34.9 million no. And no ni ka say your money e de mamo. But the other deal ambulances na nyama no ye na enim say enya mo pe na e de mamo. It is a obe quote spare part figure no which is $34.9 million. Na afei ejuma no ukotidie yede ma muni na no te said ye nya wo pa na edi ejuma ne share won sa. I don't know, but I feel like there's some form of as a some ye person confusing Ghana for be what you say. Basically that's what I think is happening here. But with your company now that's what they are saying. Omo ka say enya omo pe no mo ye ejuma no na a competitive bidding what you say. Now I say I've read this part. Now, I say a total of 16 companies participated, including the 7 companies that eventually formed the consortium during the pre-tender workshop round. The companies that formed the consortium included Luxury World Auto Group Limited, Elok Consult, and I mean, Okujato has said all these things already. He has mentioned all these companies, like Luxury World Auto Group Limited, Elok Consult, RDC Company Limited, Bift Engineering West. I mean, Okujato went further to even list the directors of these companies. And we've seen some of the directors, how close they are to President Akufo-Addo Nemma. So, sir, response here company in the Abano. We know. We already know. I mean, we know. I said the company also rejected a claim by the MP that the payment of $34.9 million for the procurement of spare parts for the ambulances, which translates to about $113,000 per ambulance, was significantly higher than the cost of acquiring new ambulances. It added that the allegation by Ablakwa that it received $10 million before the payment of the $34.9 million has been rejected by the Bank of Ghana. Also, the $34.9 million, of which letters of credit were established for $10 million, is falsely assigned to cover only mechanical parts, and the figure was again deceitfully allotted at about $113,000 worth of spare parts per ambulance. The company also stated that it has already dealt with the issues raised against it by the Office of the Auditor General. Company say, I mean, Auditor General issues now, or they buy, or more deal with the issues, but they should let us know how they dealt with the issues. How did they deal with the issues? I mean, if you've dealt with the issues, why is it that the Auditor General is not having a response? Okay, if you've dealt with the issues, didn't say that the Auditor General no only a response to shows okay in someone make a fan crofo way no or more deal with the issues and they've settled it. If you are releasing a statement now say Okujato Boa, now we deal with the issues of the Auditor General, then I mean speak. And you see one thing about the Auditor General in someone walk and no, and yes I just no Auditor General then send no control National Ambulance Service. Mo National Ambulance Service ni ye juma. The National Ambulance Service didn't say oh Auditor General somehow can intro. Auditor General somehow can say dear mo can ya no query. Until at the end of the day, say Auditor General ya auditing a we. Yamfane say masoma tie mama osika. Na sika na mama no me dia ma say fa kokoto emo na emo no kochema nkrofo. Mama osika specifically say koto emo $100. Na koche emo $100 ne ma nkrofo. Na later makwa kofa wo bia wo ye auditor. Say wombra mbebu akonta na hu ni say indeed utumi to emo $100 ne kochema nkrofo a. Na later ebe hwe na emo no to $20 pe. Na okochema nkrofo. Ema mbra atwem. Ti me kofa auditor ne bae na auditor ne behu say oh emo no uto $20. Eni ekobisa wo mo a emo no ye ka se ye be chama mo. Eno mo ka say oh emo no $20 pe no ba be chama ayen. Na aden sen na wo ka se mo meche. Na me say oh me ka ten so meche $100. Na afei auditor na ye audit na we ni ehu ne say emo no $20 pe na wache. Na later asema obeka ne say oh auditor no me ne na akwa amanti ase aba. I mean just like that memfa. One na akwa kama ntiase aba ntiase ne dey na sie. Auditor no agi to mu say ono auditor no ye mistake ana. Say emo no indeed 100 na wotoye e na okoche 20 pay ana. Ana one na akwa ene say wakwa pay bibia ma ne say o metwa me ntro. Ana say dey. But even anyhow, the auditor has not come out to speak on it. Wo kra no untre wunsemu entre Ghana for. But you are believing say obese oka say o meni na akwa just sa keke ni enji ntum da bi enye ne sa adia here intino I mean we need further documents on that. So when na akwa dia let us know. And I know say just as I say Okujato Ablakwa, this is how he operates, this is how he works. Inyama bi say ba eya no Okujato Ablakwa ni niaje eya no the exposé ba na response ba sana na niaje because enam o response de so ena ode Okujato ni exposes na oye okrum hasaneti. Embra wo sha ase President Akufo-Addo ne private jet awofa omo say ye ntro response e ba ena later omo aba be committee omo ho ka say oh eye no kware Akufo-Addo fast away na because of so dware wo himu ntia no later e ba be da ne nsem kese. Every single expose. Just expose, no Brian Champo, every single expose, National Cathedral, and intino, modern response about saying, no, that is what Okujato wants. And now he's going to use your same response to expose you. Kusibu atimuna. Na say na me use kusibu atim video bi. Na all can say yeah the nkra MPP ne be wini. Na ma stress ave say hey onka san. Now NDC mbra ni enchi nintum. NDC mbra ni enchi nintum. Maybe I'll do a reaction to that story. But that is that. Intino insemni ni na no. Any no. So this is what they are saying and all that. But most of the things they've said, no, we know already because Okujato has told us. Okay, intino that is that. Now, into Okujato issues are raising the lack of competitiveness in procurement process. Once Okujato has a no. Or say in Crawford procurement process no, anya competitive. Okay, and listen, I want to explain the things so Ghanaians understand because statement and Crawford with the abandon. So one year it will confuse you. Sisiano Okujato 2 deals and our exposé from Nkrofo. The spare parts deal and the ambulance itself deal. Spare parts deal no Okujato ka say na procurement no enya competitive. And so Okujato has made a claim of the lack of competitiveness in procurement process. These people in addressing that issue no asemwa wa mo kan say on many companies 7 in a year juma. But the lack of competitiveness, no, it wasn't, Okujato's claim wasn't with that deal now, money company 7 years, no. It was with the first expose, which is the spare parts. Spare parts in Okujato can say there was lack of competitiveness in the procurement process. But for the ambulance itself, Okujato admitted, say, enyo mo pen omo the ambulance they buy, they came with 7 other companies. He listed the companies. Today, those people have also come to list that same company. And are those same companies. And so Okujato's lack of competitiveness in the procurement process still holds, even though these people indirectly are trying to tell Ghanaians that they've responded to it. No, it still holds because they've not responded to it on the side of the spare parts deal. So me person sharing so. Sana Ministry of Health in so babeye bukata. Say ane omunchi at 34.9 million bia. Okujato never said so much at 34.9. Intinemesremo. The previous payments to Service Ghana, the $10 million, aside $10 million, I mean the 150 million Ghana cedis payments. And you see, they didn't even address a very important one. Okujato dia worker say, President Akufo-Addo, business partner, no, they didn't address it. Okay, this is the full statement. Maybe in the full statement they addressed it. Let's read the full. I mean, let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Probably I was reading the summary from Ghana Web, and probably maybe in the summary they didn't speak on that. But let's read the full statement and then get to understand. Also, false allegations about after sales service and maintenance contracts for 307 ambulances. Now, as a Service Ghana Auto Group Limited (SGAGL) takes a serious view of utterly false claims and outright lies about its contracts with government for after-sales service and maintenance for 307 ambulances. Notice is hereby served in those peddling the false allegation, including by the media without attempts to verify same, that they, particularly the unprofessional and unethical media, shall be held liable for reckless damage to genuine business and reputation. Into more threatening say, Okujato nsemo a Kenya media for a move media for ni nano muheni ye because man here the mobile court. Now, say the companies in the transaction have at all material times, including during the competitive procurement process, conducted themselves with integrity and complying with due process of law. While SGAGL looks forward to share all documentary evidence before constituted investigative authority of the state, SGAGL shares the following easily verifiable facts about the transaction. Now, competitive procurement process for the ambulances. As the SGAGL is an SPV of a consortium of 7 companies that participated in a competitive procurement process, not sole sourced, and are judged on merit to procure and to provide after-sales service and maintenance for 307 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter ambulances for the National Ambulance Service. The competitive procurement process commenced by the Ministry of Special Development Initiative via an invitation for tenders dated 15th November 2018 with reference number MSD-PEP-AM/RST/2018 for 275 units of 4x4 ambulance vehicles, varied to 4x2 for 307 vehicles. Okay. I say a total of 16 companies participated, inclusive of the 7 companies that eventually formed the consortium during a pre-tender workshop round, and they are, companies nidia okuja tunso abono or trese ejuma na enyo obope ne demomo ambulances ejuma na enyo obope ne demomo ye de ma omo ye 7 na out of 7 ekra no companies e ba ya wo mo trese an kombetumi aye ejuma ye 16 na so 7 and ye select here. Also, these companies came together leveraging their expertise and resources and emerged with exceptional value for money proposition in a compelling lowest bid of $133,000 per ambulance, compared to offers by competitors including Silver Star Auto Limited, ranging for $250,000 to $300,000 as revealed by the tender evaluation report. Into Tremwa, Omokrano, Eboa Womo Boye, say Womo the ambulance bebano, ne ebo no form $133,000 per ambulance. Because now other competitors na omo say ye mo $250,000 na one for ambulance in den Embra Ghana. Indirectly, they are trying to paint a picture, say omo na value for money, no problem. Also, the consortium's techie-based supplier, EMS Mobile System La, ASAG, by letter dated 22nd February 2019, obtained manufacturer's authorization from Mercedes-Benz, an essential prerequisite for participation in the process. Manufacturer's authorization for the medical equipment to be installed in the ambulance vehicles was also duly obtained from the EMSA ambulances by letter dated 23rd February 2019, and also say another critical tender requirement. The authorization provides a warranty guarantee for the medical equipment and ambulances. Now, 7 points. I say in full compliance with tender specifications, a comprehensive on-site inspection of the supplier's facilities was undertaken with technical officers of the NAS, Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health, and 2 other relevant sector ministries in Turkey and Amsterdam at the expense of the consortium. The individual companies in the consortium had specific allocations and duly supplied the ambulances, paying all applicable duties and insurance costs in full for seamless delivery of same. Now, and when you are more cano, say, they are trying to paint a picture, say, they did due process. And they say, answer na ubenya deal, no. I was say, winya letter, every Benz for her, Benz for air say, indeed, ebia ambulance, no, omube to me the abrel. I was say, winya letter, every omo install ebia medical equipment, no. Egu eye Benz car ni muna ba beda ne ambulance no mo so atre say when the contract ni ma assume sia ye betumi anti mo tre say we ni na answer no menya contract ni na no mo ye say edwuma no. Okay, so by this obi be say omo explain they are you go they explain as I said they are trying to paint but I understand what they are doing. They are trying to paint a picture to tell Ghanaians say and you say be sorry and the contract ni mo they did some groundworks. Now, say the contractual projected budget for spare parts for 5 years. Also, the after-sales service and maintenance agreement was entered into in December 2019. It specified extensive after-sales support, routine servicing, maintenance, repairs, and provision of requisite mechanical and medical spare parts for the ambulances. The consortium companies incorporated the SPV Service Ghana Auto Group Limited on 24th April 2020 with primary objects for sale of automotive and vehicle parts to fulfill the contract stipulations. Herein lies the utterly false claim that Service Ghana Auto Group Limited was awarded a contract prior to its incorporation, when the verifiable facts is rather that the initial contract of December 2019 was to the constituent companies of the consortium. No, okay. Into some more can say, Senya Okujato Eka say omo company no ye momo contract and some best form a company no say yes anete. Or say a different companies 7 and a bar together. And no mobile form is our company ya friend Service Ghana Group Limited. Yes, our different companies now money now we need contract say womonfa a friend saying ambulances in Ghana no. Omwa no mobile together babe form is our contract sorry, our company and omunya the after sales. Let's say your ton ambulance we are maintenance of the ambulance no ya ne be inti ya yentrance ne hanson form company intiana e look it say senior ye de contract ne mo ansa na wo mo form company no, but it was more like an agreement, and this is the explanation to it, right? Or say the incorporation of the SPV would naturally result in the agreement reflecting the new development with SGAGL forming a strategic partnership with Intercity STC coaches to access its workshop facilities for a countrywide coverage. Into more say, Senya on say one of the things that Okuja to Sansu reasons and Ankrofi or more a delay in maintenance now so muni workshop ya and no more say one STC on the STC Wagana and so muni STC for signing agreement say Omube yusu XTC for no workshop no. What you say? You know, they didn't have to specifically say na komo ebewa workshops all around Ghana. Into your money STC for signing agreement no more yusu STC for workshop. But you see, for this point, the question I want to ask and say, but if it was a consortium and 7 companies and a bar together and a babe form is a consortium now, why is it that okay, so the directors of the consortium are Service Ghana Auto Group Limited no? Yes, directors of the 7 companies nini na and ya listed as the directors of the consortium na, because that should be the case. If indeed yes, consortium then a forming Service Ghana Auto Limited na, then the directors of the consortium, so the Service Ghana Auto Limited at least should be listing 14 directors. So do they have 14 directors? That's the question, right? And with the STC coaches, then so no, more explanation no. Now 4, also SGAGL deployed 3 fully equipped Mercedes emergency mobile workshop vans for prompt and efficient response to unforeseen issues, ensuring minimal downtime and optimal availability of these ambulances for critical medical transport services. Into omo tremu omo aside workshop no, omo create emergency workshop van. Not just say omo wo cars bia as omo fit egum. Into omo nya tese ambulance na say wo baby pe eni kwan say ye de ambulance no eba workshop fast. Sa omo cars na omo fit ni gugum no fast. Omo kwa ye ambulance ni ho adwuma. Into no ambulance ni bi na ye no na eni kwan say okoku hu wo workshop ansa na obehu no say o ambulance no ye fixe na omo wo fitters egugu car mu a wo twen nti ye tese ambulance ye wa ha na fast ye de car na akọ ye tese se wa ha na ye de akọ nti ambulance ye wo kwan so ana se wo bebi a ye fixe ya na eno ano no, there's no need for a workshop. Basically they are explaining why they don't have present workshop. Also SGAGL has also constructed a multi-purpose workshop at the National Ambulance Services headquarters in Accra, further expanding its support infrastructure for the ambulance maintenance program. Other projects in Ho and Takrade have stalled due to land litigation. It was the Oko National Ambulance Service for headquarters there. A ho de si workshop wo a multi-purpose workshop wo ye adwuma wo. Na komo person mu see other workshops e wo Ho and Takrade ne other places in the country. Now so all these places no here asase ho manson eno nti na workshop no omuntumi nsi. Otoaso I was say the contract specifies a budget for spare parts for a period of 5 years contingent upon the approvals of both the Bank of Ghana and the Public Procurement Authority, and SGAGL has a dedicated warehouse facility in Tema for secure storage and management of imported parts for use by the National Ambulance Service. I say the $34.9 million of which letters of credit was established for $10 million is falsely assigned to cover only mechanical parts, and the figure again deceitfully allotted at about $113,000 worth of spare parts per an ambulance. In fact, over 45,000 mechanical and medical spare parts, essential items, have been supplied to the National Ambulance Service since the ambulances were delivered. Payments for some consignments have been in arrears, and a recent shipment financed with loans by AGL is on its way to Ghana. Into Tremwan, send your kuja to Ababeka, ama as an ambulance back on year spending $113,000 was on a mutrimwa a yentro. Na sa spare parts ne nyamana ebano. You see, a mechanical and medical spare parts. It sounds a ye ambulance ninti. Any kwan say ofan say a car sa keke say bi aka ne tire say da bi ambulance they be a medical parts bi wo mu a say e wo say fix it. Ati ase na eno ne kra no so far no almost the 45,000 mechanical spare parts of the ambulance. And at so one more supply so far. Ama Ghana. Eno kra no. Ghana kra di omoka. Enda womoka say. Almost also recent shipments bia. Wamwa kwa bobosia. Edia financier. E wase aban ti omoka. Inti enye se bia wamu nye ejuma bi. Ena aban inti omoka. Na se wamu ye katasheshe bi. Dabi. Omwa supply nyama. Aban ne di omoka. Wase aban ti amoka. Aban sounds into way. Basically, that's what they are saying. Now, say in respect of the 2022 performance audit, SGAGL had significant disagreements with the Auditor General's report, which it did not have the chance to contribute any responses by way of the management letter. Nonetheless, SGAGL has since refunded the amount wrongly labeled as double payments to salary staff of National Ambulance Service when these were in the nature of ADHE for hardworking personnel. SGAGL deploys its teams in a fashion consistent with the plan to train and transfer knowledge to staff of NAS, 7 fleet separate from the 307. Tomu tremwa Auditor General nsema waka fa omo hu nyina no omo emfo aso. Now the reason why I'm going to me and responded and they say Auditor General more coin so woman responded. But ni name no sika Auditor General ka say woman sansun tia back no sika ni bi say womu tia edwumaye for double. Na say sika ni na no omu tia back. Omo refund sika no. Na omo edwuma womu ye no ene say omo fa National Ambulance for no na womu akyere omo ade so that later so mu ni hokra na National Ambulance for nkasa ebetumi aye edwuma no. Also, it needs emphasizing that the Ministry of Finance established a $10 million LC, not direct payment, as falsely alleged, and that bank loans have had to be procured to finance key obligations under the contract. Except that Stephen Okoro is a director of one of the 7 companies, a fact available to public at the registrar of the companies, the consortium, its constituent companies, or the SGAGL do not have the associations falsely alleged. Neither have they engaged in any wrongdoing. The consortium and SGAGL have and will continue to act above board in their dealings. Managing Director. Now, I have said no, I say, except that Stephen Okoro is a director of one of the 7 companies, a fact available to public at the registrar of companies, the consortium, its constituent companies, or the SGAGL do not have the association falsely alleged. Now, I think that is where the issue is. On say the ama asem way ni nano, aye a big issue, and they say, yes, ni pakrono where you're close to President Akufo-Addo eba, or you're a business partner. Almost say yes, Stephen Okoro now were director of one of the 7 companies ne there. Or no, yes. Aside or no, but omuni nano omuni Akufo-Addo, but like as allegations, ne associations no more cano, no kwa bia enim. That's what they are saying. Okay? But aside the Stephen Okoro, who is a director, no, Omwankasa company, that means they are distancing themselves from their director. The company is more like distancing themselves from their director. As someone can say, Ebia, your director, and one of the directors of the consortium, SGAG, no. So one no, and no name president ba. Say your company, no, yet your name president no neba. Akwa say Ebia, we juma or company, bina, Ebia or company, no boss, no, enim, Ebia, president, EBB. Ati I say, and also say your boss name president ni BB dia na your company no your fire home say your names. Basically that's what they are saying. Anyway, that is that. That's their response. But send your maker no. This is how Okuja to Ablakwa operates, and so we are expecting him to come out with more details to show Senkrof we the omo cannot no query and answer no query. Won't try your comment box ni mo.